I wasn't the best kid in the world. You know, I didn't hurt anybody physically or anything like that, but I definitely made an impact and regret some of the decisions I made at a young age.
What were some of the decisions you made?
Well, I guess let me preface it with starting to use drugs at a young age. So I haven't done drugs since I was 17 years old. I'm 31 now. So mostly I got it out of my system early. You know, I think I started dabbling at 11, 12 years old, and then I stopped. I remember the exact day when I was 17. I'm not in recovery. I'm not in AA or NA or anything like that. I just choose not to drink. I don't smoke weed. I don't do any drugs. But that was by complete choice. So when I was younger, I guess I'll start off with the rave scene. So are you familiar with raves?
Of course.
So a lot of the younger crowd doesn't know what a rave is. They just know about these new EDM and electronic music festivals. And
are you from here, or were you originally from?
I'm from right outside of Philadelphia.
Okay,
in Pennsylvania.
Got it.
So I was huge into the rave scene at such a young age, and I would sneak out of my house in the middle of the night. I would take a bus to Philadelphia, and I remember one that I used to go to was called God's Basement, and it was in the basement of a church. And for whatever reason, So for whatever reason, this church was allowing a rave, to rent out that space. God's Basement.
What a name for a nightclub.
It's barely a nightclub. It was disgusting.
Ecstasy County, everybody's rolling, drinking water, massaging, the whole nine.
Ecstasy, ketamine, cocaine, weed, alcohol. I even saw mescaline. I remember, which is I don't think I ever saw again outside of there. But yeah, you might be able to find God's Basement online.
And this is Philadelphia.
Yeah, and the room probably had 200-300 people in it, and it's about if I had to take an approximate, like 2,000 square feet.
Is this it?
Yeah, this is it.
Rob, can you raise the audio? We can't hear it.
I can't believe you found this.
Lower.
During the week, it's a school cafeteria. On weekends, it's sometimes party central for ravers. When we went undercover on a recent Friday, we found drugs, alcohol, and underage teens.
We are so horrified. If you guys could close this place down, we would be more than grateful.
Parents and staff of the Global Leadership Academy Charter School were ready to protest and block the doors tonight to prevent a Pimps and Hoe party scheduled here.
The
West Philadelphia school rents its building and basement from the neighboring
there was a
church.
Pimps and Hoe party in Vegas all the time, but that was 20,000 people.
The school says it's complained for months to the church about
having
having
you can pause this, Rob. We get the idea. Okay, so God's Basement.
So God's Basement, yeah. Me, 12, 13 years old, walking around this place with,
at 12, 13, you're going here.
Yeah, and let me just show you. I would like this to stay off camera, but let me just show you what I look like so you get a better idea of why they even let me in the doors. Which, obviously, it was an illegal party, but you can see by the way that I looked, all messed up on drugs. I don't think they were going to question me.
You can totally tell by the eyes, man. You are.
Yeah, I was 16 in that picture.
You're 16 here.
16 there, yeah. But I didn't look much different, much different when I was, 13 years old doing heroin. So I didn't get to that point yet. But
at 13, you were doing heroin.
Yeah. So God's Basement is one of many raves I went to in Philadelphia, and where it started was Ecstasy. So somebody gave me Ecstasy. I loved it. I thought it was the greatest thing to ever be created. And I would take Ecstasy as often as I could, whether that be multiple times a week, or if I could do however many raves there were in Philly. They weren't usually not outside of Philly.
What's the most you took on one night?
I'm not sure, because Ecstasy, it's variable in the dosages. So I mean, definitely multiple pills. But once you get to a certain point with Ecstasy, and not advising anybody try it, but once you get to a certain point, you don't feel it anymore. It doesn't do anything. I think your brain just runs out of your natural happy chemicals. But yeah, so I continued to do Ecstasy, and I really, really liked it. But that was my main drug of choice. Like most people start with weed or drinking or whatever.
You went straight to it.
Went straight to Ecstasy.
Very ambitious, yeah.
Yeah, and I loved this. But the one night I was at God's Basement, actually, thinking back. And I was complaining about the come down feeling. So when it's considered a stimulant, So when you're coming down from it, you start to feel bad. And these things go till 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. So the sun's coming up, you feel absolutely horrible. And somebody said to me, hey, you can take one of these Perk 30s, which is an it's actually, they're not actually Percocet, but it's an oxycodone 30 milligram pill, and it'll make you feel better, which at that point I've never taken any painkillers. I took a Perk 30. It got rid of that come down feeling completely from the Ecstasy. And so that way I didn't go right to them immediately, but I kept taking Ecstasy and then trying to find any opiate that I could, not heroin at this point, but any opiate that I could to come down from the Ecstasy. And then I found out that I was starting to like the opiates better than I liked the Ecstasy. And that's when it became a problem, because I was taking the opiates before I even got to the raves, and I didn't have any energy really to be partying at a rave or doing anything at a rave. And, those pills were expensive back then. Like, I was a young kid, and yeah, I did well in certain areas with marketing, but I wasn't, every day wasn't that good. I didn't grow up in a great area with a ton of money or anything like that. And, what happens is you're paying $30 a pill approximately, unless you buy it wholesale. And wholesale, you're going to pay from $17 to $25. And I'm talking a long time ago. Now, people, from what I'm being told, if you can find a real pill, we can talk about the fentanyl crisis if you want, but if you can find a real 30 milligram oxycodone, it'd be $60 a pill on average. So I couldn't afford it back then when it was $30 a pill. And then you have to take multiple a day to even, keep yourself from getting sick, going through withdrawal. And then I remember I was in Trenton, New Jersey, and I was out staying at a friend's house who did not know my real age as well. And I was offered heroin. So I never tried it before. It, for some reason, was not as scary as it would sound to me. I guess I was so messed up and so sick and just wasn't thinking properly, and a young kid and, brain not fully developed. And then this guy comes up to me in the house with I remember it was a CD case and a line of heroin on it. I snorted one line of heroin out of the bag. I don't know if it was a full bag or half a bag. I don't know. But a bag of heroin is $10. Me taking multiple Perk 30s a day, let's say $60 to $100+ a day, and sometimes even more, to go from that to $10 is now making me feel better, and snorting it. Was a no-brainer for me. I can not be sick. I can do this. It makes me feel exactly the same, except for a little maybe rush in the beginning. But I was more worried about not being sick. So my whole life was consumed by heroin very quickly, and the same problem happens. So $10 a bag turns into you're buying bundles, which is usually from 10 to 14 bags, and they would sell for about $75. So you'd get bundles of heroin for, a deal, if you want to call it a deal. And, now you're doing a bundle a day and you're stuck and you can't snort that much powder. It just won't fit in your nose, literally, no exaggeration. So then you end up using needles. So I ended up as a 13, 14-year-old kid injecting heroin and went back to shooting 1-2 bags at a time. And the feeling would go away, which then reduced the amount of money I had to spend, but then ended up in the same problem. You can only inject so much without, you can only fit so much in a needle until you have to keep hitting yourself every couple hours without getting sick. And then it just became an absolute catastrophe for not only me, but everyone around me, my mom, my grandma, my grandpa, everybody that cared about me. And I'm very, my biggest regret is that how many people that I worried and hurt and caused whatever financial harm it was on the hacking side of things, as well as the court cost of just getting in trouble as a stupid kid with drugs. But thankfully, never hurt anybody physically, never had any violent crimes, never got in any trouble behind the wheel of a car with drugs. It was all just drug offenses and stupid minor petty theft things as a kid. Well, hey guys, my name is Ryan Montgomery, also known as Zero Day. I'm proud to be part of the app Minect. If you have any questions regarding child safety, cybersecurity, or even any of the gadgets that you see me use all over the internet, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to help you with any questions or concerns you may have. Stay safe.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.